Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another rework for Nobunaga's Ambition Awakening. So, for this video, I'm talking a little bit about the diplomatic types in the game. So, the goal is to kind of add a little bit more of a, I don't want to say economic, but let's just stick with diplomacy, right? More of a diplomacy angle for some of these daimyo who are known for just being strong, strong at either getting allies or getting deals done, stuff like that, right? So I got 5 people here, and we're going to see some of the traits that are going to be overlapping a lot, stuff like black-clad chancellor, clever diplomat, and then a couple of surprises. I guess really 2 big reworks for the daimyo. So the first one is Sadori, who you can see here. So let's just get into it. Sadori Rokaku, right? Now I've done a stream with this guy, the Gilded build. Sadori was like literally the progenitor of the Gilded build for this game. So if you guys don't know what that is, I have a playlist for builds, and it's all about making money in this game, just breaking the game. Not breaking the game, but getting a huge advantage through economy. Sadori is the guy for that. So, starting with Sadori, the first thing I did to change up Sadori is to give him courtly interest. So, it's we're kind of walking a line between theme and practicality. Okay, that's what all of my reworks are. All of my reworks are either a little bit of theme, a little bit of practicality. So I have to reconcile those two. Some characters have more practicality than theme. Sometimes it's vice versa. I try to strike the line as best as I can. Now, courtly interests is the dynast trait, but from a diplomatic side, from a non-warfare side. This trait is this is Yoshimoto's trait, first of all. So for those of you who don't know, what does this trait do? It enables friendly goodwill, even with clans whose stance is poor. Okay? In Nobunaga's Ambition Awakening, you can only have a maximum of 2 alliances. Okay, once you have 2 alliances, the game automatically makes everyone else hostile towards you, so that you're capped at 2. And the reason for that is a balancing perspective. You know, this game isn't, it's not exactly grand scale strategy. It's, I don't even know what to call it really. It's a war game, you know, but it's not grand scale where it's like hundreds of countries, you know. It's a big map, but it's not a humongous map, right? We're still just dealing with Japan. So because of that, having 2 alliances in any direction really secures a front for you, and in some runs can make it so that you're just unassailable, you know. So having 3, okay, having courtly interest, which allows you to talk to people, it allows you to bypass that hit, right? So let me show you guys actually. So let's say we're gonna edit. Let's do it this way, right? So we have normal with these 2, with the Shogun, and we have normal with Mitsunari here, right? Okay. Now we're going to edit in that we have an alliance with our southern neighbors here. Now we have an alliance with them. Immediately we get this prompt. Forming the alliance has alarmed other clans. Other diplomatic standing with 38 clans has suffered. So the game immediately says, okay, you have 2 alliances. We're going to automatically lower everyone else's stance with you because you already have an alliance. So now everyone's hostile. Suddenly everyone's except for the Shogun. It usually, I think if you have really, like if the officers have a really good relationship with each other, such as the Kenshin with the Shogun as well, you don't take a hit. Or it could be just because it's the Shogun. Maybe the Shogun doesn't care one way or another. I'm not too sure. Somebody let me know in the comments down below. Anyway, everybody's immediately hostile. Once you're hostile with the force, you can't really negotiate diplomacy. You can negotiate a truce, but it's very difficult to get diplomacy done with them. So what courtly interest does, it just completely ignores it. So if I go to talk to Mitsunari, you can see he's hostile. Sadori uses his base political stat still. It just bypasses it, and you get the special text here. Even a warrior must possess elegance. Refinement is the key to negotiation. Okay, so courtly interest is an absolutely broken trait. The only reason Well, there's two reasons. But it's just as broken as Dynast. It is the equivalent of Dynast. It is that broken. The reason that it doesn't stand out as much is because, number one, Yoshimoto is the holder, and Yoshimoto doesn't really need it because he has the Triple Alliance, as we know. And number two, this game is so war-focused that everything else, economy, diplomacy, takes a back seat so that you can get to the fight. It's all about getting to the fight. That's how this game is built. It's not like Sphere, for example. Sphere is a little bit more balanced. This game is more like, nope, everything that you do is in service to getting you to the battlefield quicker. So that's the main reason that this trait does not stand out as much. But I recommend that you guys give it a try. This trait is so much fun. I've said this before with Dynast trait. Anything that lets you break the rules of a game, in any game that you're playing, anytime that you say, I ignore that rule, you guys established a rule, I'm going to ignore that rule. Anytime that you can do that in a video game, it is broken and it's insanely fun. Okay? That's what Dynast does for Nobunaga. It says, hey, you know how you have these occupation rules that you have to occupy territory? I don't care about that. I immediately get territory as I march through it. Everything immediately surrenders to me as I march through it. It just ignores the rule. It shuts it down. And as broken as that stuff is, it's also just as much fun. So I highly recommend trying Courtly Interests. Give it to somebody in any of your runs. It's a lot of fun. It just gets rid of that annoying cap that's like, hey, you can only have 2 friends. If you want to have a playthrough where you just sit back and kind of play Puppet Master a little bit, this is one of those traits that allows you to do that, right? So getting back to Sadori, we gave him this trait, Courtly Interest. It makes it... I really want Sadori to have his own feel, to have a very strong feel for when I do the video talking about the old daimyos and Birth of Nobunaga. And I figured, you know what, let's just give him this trait, and let's also fix his tactic, because he doesn't have a tactic. So I also gave him Concerted Attack. You know, 84 Leadership, it's going to hit pretty well. It's going to do some good damage. Courtly Interest, again, it just opens the door to so many possibilities. The Rokaku are in the center of the map in Birth of Nobunaga, which is his heyday. You know, 43, you could play with him as well, but his heyday is in Birth of Nobunaga. So being in the center and being able to talk to anybody, you know, infinite possibilities for a starting date that already has infinite possibilities. You know, if you guys haven't seen my Birth of Nobunaga DLC review, go check it out. It's probably the best of the new DLC scenarios. So we gave this guy even more possibilities. So this just makes him insanely fun. Courtly Interest just makes him insanely fun. Now he has the build-it angle. He has Courtly Interest. He can punch a little bit, self-defense, all that good stuff. It's just these 2 things right here is all you need to give this guy even more interest, to really make him stand out among those daimyo from among the old heads, right? Let's say the old head daimyos. This really gives him a unique feel, unique flavor, right? Now you can keep him in charge to take advantage of this, or you can retire him to get started on the gilded build whenever you're ready. So that's Sadori. The next one, let's go to Yoshiaki. Yoshiaki Ashikiaga, the Shogun, very simple rework. All I did was give him Clever Diplomat, which I think, what did he have instead of that? I think he had Eloquence. Yeah, a couple of these daimyo have Eloquence, and I just upgraded it to whatever diplomatic angle I wanted to give him, because Eloquence is it's available pretty much everywhere. So it's one of those things that when I was looking at these guys on this list, I was like, okay, Eloquence is the one that I'll move off to try to get something daimyo specific. So Clever Diplomat increases the attack of requested reinforcements. This is just a very Yoshiaki thing, you know? Guy never, I mean, from asking Nobunaga to help him take the capital, to asking everybody to destroy Nobunaga later, the guy never stopped asking people to join the fray. So, and actually, Clever Diplomat was the whole thing that kicked off this idea for this list, which you know, just gave me the idea of, hey, let me try to add more of these traits that come from a diplomacy, that help you get stronger from a diplomatic background, right? So Yoshiaki, just giving him this, plus Military Paragon, you know, there's a little bit of getting a little bit stronger through numbers there if you want to work through it. And remember that he's the Shogun. The Shogun plays a very unique and different game in Nobunaga's Ambition Awakening than everyone else. It is a very, very different game. If you haven't played as the Shogun, go check it out. My very first run on this channel was as the Shogun. And that's what I show off. He's got the Shogun has unique mechanics that it's like playing a totally different game, okay? So Military Paragon will debuff units. Clever Diplomat will make your allies hit a little bit stronger. It's a nice 1-2 punch. You know, it makes him a little bit more interesting. The power is still not really him, right? It's just the perception that he's the Shogun enfeebles units, and it makes his allies fight a little bit harder. So that's Yoshiaki. Next one, the Dates. Let's start with the dad. Well, the grandpa. Let's say grandpa. Grandpa Date, Tanammune, the guy who formed the backbone of the Date, the guy who formed everything. So I gave him I would say a major rework. So Tanammune Date has land advantage, and I think he has eloquent. No, he has statesman. Statesman allows you to build roads in this game. Pretty useless. If you could improve roads, statesman would be awesome, but there's no such thing in this game. So we got rid of statesman. We got rid of land advantage. We gave him Jewel of the Land. Just something that's never used. Nobukatsu has this. Jewel of the Land raises the trust during all negotiations. So anytime you do a tribute or a truce, the bonus goes up. It makes it easier for you to get a deal done with a neighbor. And in that same vein, we have Black Clad Chancellor. It negates the cost of goodwill. So you do not have to pay for goodwill whenever you're using Tanammune. And then Eloquence, of course, increases the value of the goodwill. So we have a nice combination of our goodwill is more effective, and we don't have to pay for it. Which, if you play in Tohoku, you know that every little bit helps when it comes to saving cash. Every little bit that you can do helps. And then, like I said, Jewel of the Land, you're not going to use it all the time, but when it's time to get a deal done, you'll be able to get that much more value out of it. So if you really want to negate somebody, if you're playing up in Tohoku and there's a neighbor you don't want to deal with, you don't want to deal with the Uesugi or something, and you want to get a deal done, Tanammune's the guy to make sure that it lasts forever. So this gives them a really strong, actually a very, very strong diplomatic power. This boom, just elevates him, right? This makes him, to me, he's already interesting, but this makes him way more like, okay, now I could really, really have some fun just negotiating, just like Tanammune would have. And then last thing, again, he didn't have a tactic, so I gave him healer for now. Healer restores soldiers. I think it's intelligence-based. 87 intelligence is good. You know, could have given him something a little bit stronger, but I don't want every daimyo to have, you know, gold just because they're a daimyo or anything like that. I think healer's a good one too because he does reconcile with his son, you know, the Tenbun Rebellion and all that. So healer fits thematically. So you can consider this like pretty much his whole character rework done here. Although I'll probably touch on him again whenever I get to the Birth of Nobunaga daimyo rework, because, you know, as I've said before, all the daimyo in that one need a rework in my opinion. Almost all the big ones. Now, his grandson Tanammune, we did skip his son, but I'll address his son in a different video. Tanammune is kind of in the same vein as his grandpa. You know, if you see my Date run, I saw the origin story for the first time, at least how it's presented, and the guy just worked his butt off to try to keep the Date together. So same thing, I think he has Statesman in this game, and he's actually missing a trait. So he's missing a trait, and then he has Statesman. So instead of that, we gave him, just like his grandfather, we gave him the Eloquence and Black Clad Chancellor combination. So again, when he's dealing with clans, it's a little bit better to get that bonus, and he doesn't have to pay when he's doing negotiation. So save you a little bit of money as the Tate. Again, Tohoku, you need money so badly up there. The economy's so bad in Tohoku. I would rework Tohoku if I could. The whole thing, man. The whole thing. Anyway, so he's basically just like his grandfather, just, you know, weaker. The stats are a lot lower. You know, he does have rapid assault. It's the one big difference, and he's got, I think, civil construction. So, but it's still the same idea. It's still that 1-2 punch of eloquence, black clad chancellor, goodwill is free, and it's a little bit stronger thanks to eloquence. Much better than statesman. Again, statesman is just it's so niche, man. You have to know where the roads are, and you can't even upgrade roads in it. If you could upgrade roads, statesman would be something that you would seek out. Like I would seek it out. If there was a road system in this game and they were like, hey, if your guy has statesman, there's a chance that he'll ask you to improve the roads. I'd be like, yes, I will seek that. I will go to war to get a couple statesman guys to increase the speed of my troops marching through my little kingdom. But no. Anyway, last character. He is a daimyo in this, so Kenyo Honganji. Kenyo. Oh, I didn't actually change him. I forgot to change Kenyo. Okay, what was I gonna change for Kenyo? Oh, tactics, right. So for Kenyo Honganji, this one's, I mean, you might not want to do it, but for me, Kenyo Honganji, clever diplomat instead of tactics. So I'll do it here so you guys can see. Daimyo. But yeah, you know, resisted Nobunaga forever. Always rallied the people to try to help, like the local monks and everything. Always working to try to stop Nobunaga. So instead of tactics, although you could keep tactics if you want, to me, I just feel like gunnery, monks with guns, self-defense and defense of the territory, you know, the temples and stuff like that. Those two things I feel like have to stay. The only thing I could see myself moving is tactics, honestly, which you could keep. But for me, I like clever diplomat here, from a flavor perspective, if nothing else, you know. And when you play as Honganji here, you are going to team up with Suzuki. There's going to be a couple of starts where you're having an alliance with Suzuki, with the Mori, with Yoshiaki, where you will have allies that you can call on to help you attack Nobunaga. So giving them plus 10 more attack, you know, don't sleep on it. Plus 10 is 2 occupation spots, you know? That's 2 spots that you have to occupy to get that plus 10 on the battle itself. So getting that plus 10 is actually pretty useful. And then, of course, depending on your allies, you don't know how strong they're going to be. You don't know who you're going to get. In Kenyo's case, you're going to get some muskets, probably. Probably going to get Sadori helping you out. So yeah, Kenyo's pretty simple. I didn't really have to change too much about him. All I did was just get rid of tactics, give him clever diplomat. So he's probably the most straightforward one. Everyone else was just the big two, Tanammune, Sadori. I really wanted these 2 guys to be, when I look back at Birth of Nobunaga, okay, when I play Birth of Nobunaga, I want to have 2 guys, maybe a third guy in the future. We'll see when we get there. But I wanted to have 2 daimyo to have a very strong diplomatic power. So Sadori, courtly interest into the stratosphere. Tanammune, the combination, black-clad chancellor with eloquence and jewel of the land, so you can just lock somebody down in a deal, you know, fix the trust and lock them down for a long time. Again, into the stratosphere. 2 really strong daimyo. And then Yoshiaki gives him a little bit of help, honestly. Clever diplomat gives him a little bit of help. Feels very Yoshiaki-like. So yeah, that's everybody. If you guys have any suggestions, just let me know in the comments down below. You know, these are the people that jumped to the front of my mind when I was thinking about this, but there were others. I mean, I was thinking maybe Soren, for example, but, you know, I don't want to put too many people. I want to just keep it kind of trim for now. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you can, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys on the next one. Until then, take care, everybody.